Hey Taurus, it's my stat day, so we're gonna keep going with our readings for Samhain that we're trying to catch up on. I've got like 5 signs left to do. Kick back, relax. There are going to be timestamps for this. You can check the description box for everything that you need to know, including how you can look up your natal chart. This is for your sun, moon, and rising sign, Taurus. This is the Wheel of the Year reading for you. This is going to look at every single month of the next year, starting with November. I will be using the Beautiful Creatures Tarot, clarifying with the Deviant Moon Tarot. We're going to use the Divine Circus Oracle, which I will be reading from the book, which I don't typically do. We're going to do some magnetic poetry. First, we're going to look at your songs, but again, I also want you to know, because we're doing timestamps, that you can totally skip through the parts that you don't want to hear. I know that it's going to be a very long reading because we're clarifying and we're going through every single month. I am clairsentient, claircognizant, and clairaudient. When I hear ringing in my ears, I hear it on this side when it's people's spirit guides, and this side when it's people I know that have passed on. For your songs, we had a bunch of Canadian stuff, which is great. I'm Canadian. I live on the West Coast. But I did want to make sure that I highlighted that for you, because the first 3 songs out of everything that I shuffled in, like 4,000 songs on Spotify, almost 4,400 songs on Spotify. Summertime in the Void by I Mother Earth. Is Anybody Home by Our Lady Peace. Lady Venom by Swollen Members. Kiss the Devil by Eagles of Death Metal. And Something Changed by Interpol. And actually, Paul Banks is a Taurus, so I thought that was really interesting too. Kiss the Devil. I thought that something struck me about that, because Capricorn is the devil card. You could be connecting with an earth sign there, but just have a listen to those songs. I channel with those songs. Of course, I also had some housekeeping items of my own in my house to do while I was channeling, so I didn't necessarily get a whole lot, but that did strike me. So check out those songs. Those will be good for you to listen to, because they are part of your year. As far as oracle messages go, we're going to read from the Divine Circus Oracle deck, and you can see me shuffling right now. We're going to cut the deck for you here and see what your message is for the next year, from November 2024 through to October of 2025. So for Taurus, what is the message that we have for you? The Good Geisha, and it's in reverse, but I'm not taking these in reverse. So it's number 18 breaking down to a 9, and we'll have a look at what that is for you. Just let me get where I need to go. The Good Geisha. You are ready to opt out of a game that most people play unconsciously. It's a game of image and appearance at the expense of the true self. So many people are used to playing this game, and they no longer realize they are doing it. They don't really know who they are, and they are afraid to really find out. They live behind masks that appeal to others, but slowly starve their authentic self, denying it the opportunity to experience being seen and to receive real love. Any promise of success, love, or wealth that begins with you contorting yourself into something you are not is a false promise. It cannot deliver anything worthy of you. You are not one of those fearful souls, but you know what it is like to have been caged in an invisible prison. A way of thinking and being that is not good for you. In times gone by, your soul has been shackled, your voice silenced, your true beauty hidden under more appropriate and acceptable guises, your intentions misunderstood, and your words misconstrued. You've been like a beautiful wild creature, captured as though somehow you could be tamed and changed. Sorry, I'm just hearing Inside a Cage by Juliet and the Licks at the same time. Fortunately, your sacred rage and divine defiance has rattled the cage of your past, forcing the door to swing open. You can and must continue to set yourself free. Be free from the expectations, opinions, and projections of others. Be free even from the self-image that you convinced yourself you were supposed to be. Be unafraid to discover the depths of your own being coming to life. If you do not, you shall bind yourself to a life far too bland for the color and majesty of your soul. Being what another wants you to be is a false promise of love, and you are destined for love, real, wild, pure, and true. Make sure you start by giving it to yourself. Then you can share it with others and receive it from others too. There is a healing trick with this card. Imagine, visualize, feel, or pretend that there's a soft, white, fluffy cloud in front of you now. It is like a massive cleansing puff made of white light. You can imagine, visualize, feel, or pretend that you can hold this fluffy cleansing puff in your hands and wash yourself from top to toe. As you gently scrub yourself with your white light cleansing puff, you wipe away anything that is not true for you. It just wipes off, just as if you were scrubbing a window clean from dirt so the light can be seen through it clearly. If you need to focus on a particular part of your body or mind, then just make some extra scrubbing motions with your invisible cleansing cloud in those places. Do this for as long as feels good for you. Then say, from this day, I wash away anything untrue I've had to do or say. I choose to free myself to just be me in all my beautiful, crazy divinity. There's also an affirmation that comes with this. It's so good to be me. So it seems like there's a message of individuality where somebody's like ignoring their individuality that comes with this. So I think that's important for you to kind of note. Magnetic poetry for you, and I see that I didn't clean off the stuff that was here for Aries just yet. You might actually have Aries in your chart, or you could be an Aries, Taurus cusp individual. But let's start around. I'm doing this in list form instead of in the general form that I normally do, because I don't want people to think that I'm making sentences for them. I want you to write down the words. They could be keywords, there could be sentences that you take from this, messages from the divine for you. And we don't have a lot. It's kind of like Aries. They didn't have a lot either, so it might very well be that you do err on the side of Aries when it comes to where you were born. Okay, that's it for you. You might want to write these down and see what rings true for you, how you have these come up in your life in the next year. And then we'll come up with our shuffle here. Sorry, can you see those? You can even pause and write them down if you need to. So during our shuffle here, we're going to be channeling, and like I said before, there might be messages that come out. I'm not going to actually address each of these cards until we get into the read and clarification, which I will also have time stamped in your description box. And then we'll clarify using the Deviant Moon Tarot for you. We're also going to get a main theme for your year once we get into the read and the clarification, which again, like I said, will be timestamped for you from the Deftones Major Arcana Tarot, which is just going to address the major archetype that you'll see as a running theme throughout the year. And this may or may not resonate for you. You absolutely have other parts of your chart that might be more dominant during the year. These cards have already been shuffled, but we want to make sure that you get to see them being shuffled on camera. It's a very large deck. Like, it's bigger than my hand, basically. So I don't have the opportunity to shuffle them like a normal human being. But I wanted to make sure, well, it was more during Halloween that I decided that I was going to use specific decks. So I wanted them to be more on point for that time of the year. Just for fairness has happened for you here. Could be dealing with a Libra, interacting with a Libra a lot during this season. But, you know, we want to make sure that you... I don't know why that kind of popped out. November. I'm only taking flippers and jumpers, a maximum of 3. So, November for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, November 2024. It's nice to have a day off, because I haven't had a day off in quite some time. I finally got a weekend off after working 6 in a row. I have 2 jobs. A lot of you might be feeling overworked, stressed from being overworked. Might be picking up extra work, extra shifts at this time to try and pay for something. Might have additional bills and expenses popping up. Taurus. I keep on wanting to say Libra, So you're definitely dealing with a Libra. You could have Libra figuring strongly in your chart. Balance. There's a need for balance. What do we have for you? November. I don't like to pull cards, and I don't want to be forced to pull cards. Forced to pull something. I'm forced to pull something. Forced to pull something. Yeah, something's getting messy, so you're feeling forced to pull something. Come on. Okay, we have one Knight of Cups in the upright for November. December for Taurus. Okay, number 16. Abruption. They call it abruption here, but it's actually the Tower. So during December, there's something unexpected that could come about Scorpio energy. January. King of Pentacles in the reverse. That's you. February 2025. Like I said, we'll get into it when we clarify. February for Taurus. Eight of Wands. March. Six of Wands in the reverse. April. Okay, we have Flipper. Seven of Swords in the reverse. I'm getting used to having a new camera set up here. May for Taurus. May for Taurus. There's an arrangement. There's an arrangement. I'm feeling as if you have to plan your year according to an arrangement. How many did we get here? We got 3 for May. You could be born in May. I don't think you are. I think you're an April Taurus. That we have the Devil in the reverse with the 9 of Wands in the reverse and the 4 Cups in the upright during May. June. June for you. Taurus, June. June for you. I keep on hearing that Juliet and Alex song, Inside Cage. That's too many. You pour like tipped wine. Watching the paint dry. It's good for the walls. It's good for the walls. Okay. During June, we have the 6 of Swords in the reverse with the Queen of Cups. July. July. These are really awkward. July. Oh, you got a lot to say during July. You're talking a lot during July. You're talkative during July. There's a lot of spilling. You pour like tipped wine. July. The moon in the reverse, revealing something. Like I said, you pour like tipped wine during July. August. Just gonna move everything here. August. Might have to. Yeah, you're arranging something. There's an arrangement. August. The 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. cold in here, guys, so I'm shivering just a little. September. It's like once we started talking, once we started talking, it didn't stop. It's almost like shuffling the cards. They started to, you know, yeah, like that. Four of Pentacles in the reverse for September. And then October. What do we have for October for you, Taurus? October 2025 for Taurus. My rage inside a cage. Taurus. The paranormal. This is a special card. This is individual to this deck. So it's about the hidden. It's kind of like to me, I view it as an extension of the High Priestess. So it's about secrets and intuition. Bottom of the deck, we have the Emperor in the reverse, a feeling of fear-mongering leadership leading through fear, tyrannical father figure, feeling as if you are the fire that burns rather than the fire that warms, Aries energy, feeling as if there's a despot or a tyrant at the helm, somebody who is domineering rather than dominant, a control freak type of energy. Like there's something going on where there's somebody who presides over everything that kind of just like bowls everybody over. Like marauding type of energy there. Whew, it's cold in here today. 1 second. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now that I'm a little older, I feel like I'm getting colder quicker. It's weird. So we're going to clarify. Ooh, look at, I'm shuffling backwards, which is weird. We're going to clarify using the Deviant Moon Tarot here. Just writing down your timestamps. And even before I do that, it's like somebody's getting ahead of themselves, eh? Because I'm ahead of myself here. I should be doing this instead. We have to look at your major arcana by the Deftones, what your theme of the year is here first. So let's look at what that is for you. And these are all just archetypes. They're just some major arcana cards. This is the deck by Deftones. Special edition. I got deck 17, so I was super lucky to even get any deck by them because it's a limited edition thing. Okay, what is the major theme for Taurus during 2024-2025? Oops, we have one that flipped. I'm taking that one. Normally I would take 3, but we have way too many that have flipped here or fallen out. The Hanged Man. This is Piscean energy. Generally speaking, this is not a forced stance that the Hanged Man has taken. He's chosen to go out there to gain perspective on something. This year is a year for you to take things in, to gain perspective on a situation, to consider all of the different viewpoints. You're looking at something from several angles in order to make a decision, or in order to gain your own enlightened point of view. Again, like I said, this is Piscean energy. But you're standing back, you're not taking action because you don't feel that you have all of the information. And so you're deciding, you're choosing to hang back and think a little bit more before, and consider all of the different perspectives that might be associated with your year and with the decisions that you're making during your year. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to clarify each of the months here. Using the Deviant Moon Tarot, we will take 3 cards for each of the months here, unless more fall. Again, like I said, we only take 3, max of 3 per flip or jump, and I don't pull cards. You're not trying to pull any punches, I'm hearing. Something about arranging things, though. There's an arrangement or something that you're trying to arrange. Things have changed a lot for you in the last 6 months. I just got that over here. Things have changed for you in the last 6 months. You're evaluating something. You're evaluating something for yourself. Knight of Cups. November's Knight of Cups. This is sorry, not Virgo. Why did I want to say Virgo? I don't know. This is classically considered Piscean energy. Sometimes I view it as Cancerian energy. It's highly poetic, very watery, and it's normally considered the knight in shining armor, somebody who comes in to rescue somebody. It's also very romantic action, steeped in romanticism, somebody taking romantic action towards somebody else. Somebody who comes in with the flowers. It's like some people would consider it love bombing energy, depending on the surrounding cards. But during the month of November, there's a lot of romanticism. There's a lot of action being taken towards somebody with lovely words, gift giving, gestures, grand gestures. Even we'll see what this is. What is the Knight of Cups during November for Taurus? It could just be a romantic feeling you even have within yourself towards others. But it is the height of romanticism. It's the guy riding in on the horse. We have this with the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. This is Virgo energy. And it's funny that I said that in the first place by mistake. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse is actually standstill energy. So it's like you have feelings of romanticism. There are romantic stirrings of the heart, however. This is the slowest moving knight in the deck to begin with. He's very strategic, methodical, and likes to move slow and put a plan in place before he takes action. In the reverse, this is complete standstill. So it's almost as if you have these romantic stirrings within yourself. During November, the poeticism is present very strongly for you during November. However, you're deciding to stand back and watch while the feelings are stirring within you. It's interesting because we do have the Hanged Man at the heart of your spread, saying that you are trying to gain perspective before you take action on anything during your entire year. So I think that's interesting that we have that in November for you. What else? Tell us why. Tell us why, and more about who this is that you're feeling this towards. We have a flipper. Yeah, it's got to do with somebody that you have an eye on for this 10 of Cups energy, a happy home life. You could be standing back because you see somebody in a happy home life, happy family situation, something with emotional fulfillment, or because this poeticism and romanticism that you see within yourself is associated with somebody that you imagine could result in a happy home life for you. You could see a 10 of Cups with somebody, but you're attempting to stand back and not take action because you know that any type of movement forward at this time with the romantic stirrings that you're feeling might not necessarily be in your best interest just yet. We have a flipper and we have 2 that fell, so we have to take them. High Priestess, yeah, you have a secret that you're harboring. Piscean energy, again, you could be looking at a Pisces individual because we do have the Knight of Cups and then the High Priestess, but there's something intuitive here that you know within your heart that you're holding back on. Thou shalt not pass with that. They're crossing their arms. She is crossing her arms. But there's intuition, secrets, somebody who's connected with the occult here. But there's something of a nagging feeling or a secret here associated with this during November. You're keeping a secret with it. It does have to do with despot energy and with an emperor, Aries energy, and then a feeling of coming out of depression. It's almost as if this emperor is kicking you out of bed and making you forcing you out of a feeling of lack of interest in depression. And normally this would be somebody who's realizing the cut from the divine because they're being forced to by a tyrant, or somebody who leads by fear, or is a control freak, somebody who rules with rules by force. Thank you. Rules by force. Somebody is a leader that is forcing you to see the cut from the divine that is being extended to you and recognize the worth that is there. There's a secret here, though. There's a secret here. During December, you have the Tower, scorpionic energy. I don't like to pay attention to the keywords at the bottom of the cards because I think they can be extremely misleading in this deck in particular. Sometimes they are apt, but not necessarily always. I don't understand why they call it the Decadence, though, because it is a tower, and I don't necessarily always think that the illustrations are great either. Somebody is watching, and there is a shocking secret or something that's about to come out. There is something jarring that happens during December that causes action. It kind of lights a fire under your ass, so to speak. Let's see what this is. What is this Tower moment? What is the Tower moment here? But there's an eye. Somebody's got their eye on something. Or somebody's watching while this Tower moment is happening. What is the Tower moment for you, Taurus, during December? What is the shocking moment for you? Not all towers are bad. Something that causes you to let your guard down or be less defensive with your energy, with the Seven of Swords there. Or it's something that happens when you least expect it because your guard is down or because you're being less defensive than usual. When you're in a relaxed state and not necessarily so apprehensive. More. Tell us more. What is this? Something that you were not expecting. It is an offer. It's an initiation of sorts, something on the tangible plane, something that has to do with a new dedication towards something that you're dedicating your time, energy, or monetary towards. Normally this is an initiation of new contracts, a new offer of sorts that requires additional investment of time, money, energy. Lots more during December. Okay. There is a little bit of a warning here about trickster energy. Gemini, by the way, a feeling that there is a problem with how upfront somebody is being about this offer. You feel as if there's something to do with it that doesn't necessarily, it's not honest, or there's illusion involved. Normally the Magician in the upright is about somebody who's mastered themselves and therefore they can master the elements. But in the reverse, it's somebody who's playing with illusion, who's putting up smoke and mirrors, and therefore isn't necessarily who they say they are, or the action that's being taken is a false front. In January, we have you not feeling connected with yourself. The King of Pentacles is your card. You are somebody who likes to prepare the home for others through your stability. You like to provide stability within the home space. You are hearth and home. You like to provide warmth within the home space. The King of Pentacles and his stability. All of our kings are fixed signs. That's why we look to the King of Pentacles as a Taurus card. It's somebody who does not move in their feelings. They're extremely stubborn. However, at the same time, they do like to feel as if they're providing that home space's stability and the firm structure that people can rely on. There's reliability here. You're not feeling reliable. You're not feeling stable, or you're feeling as if there's like a stubbornness here with what you can provide within the home, or during January, a stubbornness about how the home space is protected or secure. There's something about that I'm really feeling there. It's as if It's the loyalty to the fault. It's as if you're stubborn in your need to provide stability within the home space. As if you don't want to move from the home space, overprotective energy. Stability at the cost of stability, instability because of the need for stability and security. You might not be feeling as if people understand your commitment to that. Somebody's taking advantage entering January of the commitments that you've made. You're loyal to a fault. Tell me more during January. There's exhaustion here. This is typically being on the verge of victory, like somebody who's pushing a boulder up a hill but is so exhausted they just want to let the boulder go. This is somebody who is letting the boulder go. The wounded warrior who gives up rather than presses on. It's almost as if during January you might be kind of, for lack of a better term, losing your shit about the fact that you have been so loyal and committed to the stability and security in the home space. Or your personal commitments, not only to others but to yourself. There's a breaking. Something has to give, something has to break. That's in the nameless. It says something has to give, something has to break. There's that you're very inflexible a lot of the time because you are a fixed sign. You have certain ideals that you do not move on. And there comes a point where you just say, for lack of a better term, fuck it. Because you seem to be the one who is consistent and reliable, and everybody else, it's kind of like that feeling of how come everybody else does this, and this, and I'm the one who's consistent and reliable and loyal, and I remain committed to my ideals and to a certain level of standard. So if everybody else is just going to kind of say fuck it, well then fuck it, I might as well do that too. Something has to give, something has to break. Tell me more. The wounded warrior who's just fucking done. Do you know? They've had it. This person, they've had it. They've had it. Capricorn energy, this is happening during the beginning of January, before January 20th. So this will be happening during new moon in Capricorn, more than likely. See how the moon is there, just like that. New moon in Capricorn, double is Capricorn energy. There is probably some escapism that's happening as a result of this. Escapism into good food, good sex, good drink, hopefully not drugs, gambling, shopping, anything that you can take that's built upon the earth or lives upon the earth that can be indulged in, but could be indulged in to the point of excess. This could actually be a part of what you're upset about, is the fact that you remain consistent, reliable, and your efforts are stable and secure. However, you're seeing other people kind of just, being excessive and indulgent to the point of excess, and you kind of always follow things to the letter, and you're trying to demand that people hold those elements with respect, right? Like, I mean, yeah, it's okay to have a drink, but nobody needs to get shit-faced, or it's okay to do this, and this, but you don't need to go balls to the wall until it's just, like there's an audacity to it that you might be noticing, and it might be upsetting to you, or you might just say, well, fuck it, if everybody else is just going to go out and party, then why can't I? You know, there's a warning here with that. Typically, when we see it in the reverse, it's more like that, though, where people are just going off the rails, excessive with things that could be considered addictive. I think that this is why, though, that you're upset, is because your commitment and your reliability have always been called into the question anytime you step out of line. But other people get to do it all the time, and it doesn't seem fair to you that you're always the one who has to be reliable and consistent. We have 3 here, so I have to take them. Yeah. This harkens back to December. And the reason I say that is because we do have the Tower there. You're going to be relating back to December. You're going to actually, I hear this during the conversation, is during December. So you might actually be having a discussion with somebody where like, well, what happened during December? How come during December this, and this happened? And we all got sideswiped by something that was totally unexpected. Scorpio energy there with the 5 of Cups in the reverse. Somebody was watching this happen. More than likely you were observing this was happening. See, there's the eye again. See the eye? Remember the eye was in, here, watch, check this out. The eye was in our Tower card here. See the eye? The eye is there. So somebody was watching all this shit go down. The Tower happen. The unexpected thing happen. Watching and expecting that somebody was going to be left out in the cold, you know? And there's the eye again. Somebody observing while this Tower is happening. Something collapsing that was like totally being sideswept, you know? And then we have the King of Cups in reverse. Somebody who's not respecting their heart space. Giving too freely of themselves and their emotions to other people as opposed to respecting their emotionality and who they should provide that to. Normally the King of Cups, and this is also a Scorpio card, by the way, but in the upright, he's somebody who respects his heart space and his own self-worth and knows when to give that to somebody and when to hold back from providing that to somebody. In the reverse, that's somebody who gives it all away. You know, they give it away to anybody who will, you know, it's like the female or the male who just gives of themselves to anybody who gives them a minute or some attention or something. There's something here about this. Something has to give, something has to break. Something has to give, something has to break. Even watching, you're like, well, what about during December when this and this happened? And I just kind of sat back and I was the stable one. And now that I step out of line for 1 second, you know, just because this and this, and all of this happened and it was totally unexpected and I totally got blindsided and I had to deal with this and this and I had to clean up the mess. And I sat back and I watched while somebody, I'm hearing this, and I sat back and I watched and cleaned up somebody else's mess. But the minute that I did something for myself and indulged, you know, somebody else doesn't respect themselves here. They don't respect their own heart space. They just give it away to anybody who will, Anyway, moving along, February. There's some communication here. 8 of Wands energy. This is messages. And normally we would see this in the Rider-Waite Tarot as being arrows flying through the sky. They're not arrows, they're wands. But this is messages. This is communication, fast-moving communication coming towards someone. Tell us more. What is a cupcake? A cupcake. It could have to do with a cupcake. Normally we don't see this, but this is why I love decks that are loosely based on the Rider-Waite but aren't actually the Rider-Waite Tarot, because the symbolism provides you with extra clues into something. We have a cupcake there. The cupcake is indicative of something. The cupcake is symbolic of something for you during February in particular. Messages. The messages. A message could have a cupcake attached to it, or the cupcake could be significant in terms of what it means. There's symbolism there. Tell us more about February and the messages during February for Taurus. What are these communications coming through? Hold on just a second. All right, February, sorry. February. Eight of Wands for Taurus. Temperance. So there's something with healing. Something about a Sagittarius individual potentially. Something about losing one's temper even. A higher education. It could be conversations about university, college. It could be communications about spirituality. Travel. Long distance travel even. Could be something about communication about Sagittarius season even. Could be about the mid-November to mid-December, something that occurred during that time. Healing also. Healing something. Tell us more. Okay. Fantastic. So the Two of Wands. So this is kind of surveying the land. A delay or having to wait for news. Messages about waiting for news. Oh. There's additional messages. There's a lot of communication here. Yeah, there's a delay. There's no movement forward. Chariot energy here. So that's Cancerian energy with more additional messages, something that's happening when you are busy working. Letter, airmail, could also be email. It's communication about needing to wait because something cannot move forward until there's healing that takes place, or something that's delayed and cannot move forward until Sagittarius season. Or somebody, there's a message that something cannot move forward until additional communication happens. So it could be that there's a communication that happens regarding travel or education, higher education, and nothing can move forward until additional paperwork or additional communication from another place is received. A great example of that would be, for instance, if you're a university person and you're waiting for transcripts to be sent to the university or student loan documents to be sent to the university. So until further communication happens, no further forward progress. Could also be, for instance, if you're waiting for a passport, could be that they require additional documentation or something has to be resent before you can have that completed for you. Travel documents, that kind of thing. But there's no forward movement right now during February because additional communication has to take place. There's something that's holding things up and there's delay and waiting that has to take place in that regard. One more second here. So looking at March, we had the Six of Wands in the reverse. This is a feeling of loss, defeat after a battle, feeling like something isn't won, because normally it would be triumph after a battle, victory, kind of waving the flag high with the victory flag. And feeling as if there's like a defeat, a feeling of defeat that's happening during March. Tell us why that is. Why is there a feeling of defeat during March for Taurus? Oh, that's a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot to say. These have stuck down for you. Strength in the reverse, with the Page of Cups in the reverse. Somebody doesn't want to speak on it from an emotional place. They don't want to be over emotional. Interestingly enough, they're angry though. There's anger. Somebody is either feeling cowardly or angry, losing their temper. They don't want to seem emotional. They don't want to come from an emotional place. However, there's a feeling of anger. There's not sadness, there's anger. And the need to hold one's temper instead of expressing things from the emotional space. There's a feeling of great anger associated with this. Or not speaking from an emotional space because of cowardice. That has to do with the feeling of defeat. Tell me more. Tell me more for March. Oh, we have a flipper. It's got to do with work. Apprenticing energy, the master, showing somebody how to hone their craft. It is on the work front. Somebody feeling that they have to put more work and effort into something. They could not, they could be avoiding communicating in order and just kind of putting their head down, burying themselves in their work as opposed to communicating their emotionality about something. Could be burying themselves in their work in order to avoid expressing their emotions because they are angry. There's rage here over defeat, a feeling of defeat. And so burying oneself in their work in order to avoid expressing emotion. In April, we have the Seven of Wands in the reverse, and this is a feeling of honesty. Because normally this would be treachery. This would be somebody who's deceptive. But there's a feeling of honesty, like there's there's transparency here. Transparency during April. What is the transparency about? What is the transparency about during April? Sorry, we just got 3 flippers. So that's all we need. Transparency about no movement forward with the Six of Swords in the reverse, Ace of Wands in the reverse, and the Two of Cups in the reverse. Not meeting with somebody emotionally, somebody in an emotional connection, not meeting with them, the lack of a creative, inspiring beginning of a project, and no movement forward, no escape, none of that. It's not something that, it's like the meeting of the two doesn't happen, therefore a creative, inspirational beginning of a project doesn't happen, the passion project doesn't happen, and there's no movement forward to new horizons as a result. Trip over water also isn't happening because there is a need for transparency and honesty in a situation. Just a sec. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so that's why the transparency, or you're being transparent with somebody that you cannot move forward, and a passion project cannot begin, and you cannot meet with somebody. You can't go for drinks with somebody. You're being very transparent and honest about it, or there's a need for honesty and transparency, and that's why this cannot happen. It's almost as if during April, the value of your honesty and transparency is what you hold in most esteem. You hold it as the largest priority. It's almost, yeah, there's a trip over water. There's a trip over water that's not happening. That dampens it kind of puts the brakes on a creative endeavor or a new beginning, where you would have had to meet with somebody over drinks. It's a trip over water. During May, we have the Devil in the reverse with the Nine of Wands in the reverse. I think that's really interesting because it's a flip of what we had up here in January. They're in the reverse, whereas they were in the upright during January, with the Four of Cups in the upright. Four of Cups in the upright is a feeling of depression. It's denying yourself the cup of the divine. The cup of the divine is being extended to you due to a lack of interest, depression, a feeling of abandonment, grief, and loss. I almost said Leaf. Leif Erikson, the song Leif Erikson by Interpol. It's like learning a new language. There's something here about a lack of interest, though, because of a feeling of abandonment, loss, or grief. Yeah, something has to give, something has to break. You're on the verge of success, yet feeling exhaustion, burnout. I'm feeling burnout energy here, and that's why the lack of interest during May. You're just kind of done for it. You don't. There's like a lack of caring about anything, and you could also be indulging to the point of excess during May. As a result, with the Devil card here, temptation is huge, and it runs high during May. There's a lot of a possibility, and well, the probability is with these cards that because there is burnout, that there's escapism happening in order to alleviate the stress and burnout of the situation. You could be escaping because of a feeling of depression and a feeling of exhaustion. Again, like I said, burnout. And you could be looking at some of the things that you're indulging to excess as a form of escapism from that during May. Tell us more about this. Why? Why? Anyway, let's take a look. Sorry, I'm having an argument with somebody right now over whether I'm a BC government employee or if I work for the health authority. And it's kind of... I know who I work for. It's fine. Oh my god. Anyway, Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. I work for the health authority. Anyway, Page of Pentacles in the reverse is an offer that wasn't being communicated to you, a peace offering, a timepiece, but it's something that isn't being offered to you. It's an offer that wasn't being communicated to you, or something tangible that's not being communicated to you. So something of worth not being communicated to you. Could be appreciation, an expression of appreciation for your efforts, or something of that nature. We do have a flipper here. Let me get that. The World in the reverse. This is something that is like unfinished business. Something that you feel hasn't been put to rights, hasn't ended, that you feel there's a lack of resolution on, that it hasn't been put to bed, or it didn't have a appropriate resolution for you. Tell me more. Tell me more. So yeah, because there was a lack of appropriate investment on somebody's part. You could be feeling that somebody isn't investing in you with their time, their efforts, their energy, their monetary resources appropriately. And this kind of extends to that Page of Pentacles. Like, they're not expressing their appreciation for you. They're not dedicating their time and their energy to you sufficiently. And therefore, there's a lack of feeling of resolution to that. It's contributing to your feeling of burnout. The fact that you're kind of running yourself ragged here, it feels like. for nothing, and it contributes to your feeling or to your need for escapism. I don't like to say that as if it justifies that you should be, like, it doesn't justify escapism in and of itself through all of the different things that the devil embodies in the reverse, like gambling, shopaholicism, workaholicism, alcoholicism, any of those types of things. But it doesn't justify that. However, it can contribute to that. The fact that you're feeling burnt out and there's no expression of appreciation for your time and your energy and even your monetary output for something. It's as if the lack of appreciation for what you have sacrificed is contributing to your motivation to indulge to excess during May. Is contributing to your feeling of burnout, and is contributing to your, for lack of a better term, not giving a fuck. Yeah. During June, it's no excuse, though. Remember, it's no excuse, just because you cannot control how other people feel, you cannot control how other people react, and you cannot control how other people present themselves to you, whether or not they express their appreciation for you and your efforts. You're the one who chooses to put your efforts and your time and your energy and your money and all these things towards other people. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to appreciate it, or that they're going to say they appreciate it, or that they're going to return the favor. That's why you should do those things out of, with no expectation of return. Those things are things that you put out there because you choose to do them out of the goodness of your heart, not because you expect something in return. So even though that's an extremely altruistic thought, I understand that it's not always easy to do that. But in June, you have the Queen of Cups in the upright with the Six of Swords in reverse. You have the Six of Swords in reverse over here in April, so there's a hearkening back to April during June. Queen of Cups in the upright is Cancer, so we're looking at the beginning of, the latter of June, being June 21st onwards, where you're going to be looking at emotionality, the home, environment, family in particular, but also this is a watery, poetic, emotional, female, intuitive energy that is connected to the family, and the home presides over the family in particular. There is a reversal or a movement backwards, maybe a little bit of nostalgia involved, even though it's not necessarily that as much as it is a lack of movement forward. There's a delay with a trip over water. Six of Swords energy typically is about movement forward and escaping from a situation that's not so nice in order to move forward onto greener pastures. Again, it's also a trip over water. However, we see this as somebody maybe being delayed from a trip over water, also not moving forward and not moving past something onto something else because of the family. Could also be where there's a need to nurture the family situation from an intuitive space. You know this because it is not time yet to move on from something. Let's see why. Tell me more. So the Sun in the reverse, there's a wish fulfillment that didn't happen during June or will not be happening during June. This is Leo energy. So you could be looking forward to the end of June, understanding and fully expecting that there is going to be something that does not pan out as you would have wished it to. There could be a coldness within the home space, a coldness that you intuitively understand is on the horizon, and therefore movement forward is not in your best interest, and it's not in your family's best interest. Understanding that expectations of the warm, sunny wish fulfillment is not going to be there. There can also be a Leo individual who is not connected with the self appropriately, who could be interfering and causing issues, where you feel it is best to stay connected with your home and with Cancerian individual instead. You could also be dealing with a Cancer Leo cusp individual. That's somebody who's born during July, mid-July, who's kind of sitting in the negative aspect of Leo. That's somebody who isn't grounded in the self and secure in their ability to be warm and nurturing, but rather is scorching, volatile. Somebody who's extremely interested in the self and attention. Anger is associated with this also. Could be that somebody is feeling they're not getting attention. Let's see more. I need more before I can speak further for June. Tell us more. But you're seeing intuitively where you expect you cannot move forward on something because there's a wish fulfillment during the latter half of June that isn't happening. And you fully expect a wish fulfillment during July isn't going to happen. It's like the no. The sun in the upright is the yes card. In the tarot, in the reverse, it would be the no card. Oh, I'm sorry. Just one sec. I dropped something. Okay, yeah. So we have, it has to do with legacy. It has to do with strategically placing your pieces so that you can achieve legacy. This is the effort, the energy, the time, and the material resources being put to use in order to lay the path towards the legacy. This is definitely the family legacy. Not wanting to take risks that could topple that legacy. And understanding where one does not need to sit in a victimhood mindset regarding that. Where one will take matters into their own hands in order to fulfill that legacy, as opposed to waiting for wishes to be granted. There's a need to stay close to home. You feel the need to stay close to home. You're not willing to take risks in order to go after something, in order to achieve legacy. Because that Fool card, which by the way is Aries energy, normally would be about adventurousness, risk-taking, and spontaneity in order to learn and in order to experience life. Freeing oneself from the mental prison is present with that Eight of Swords in the reverse. However, freeing oneself from the mental prison sometimes can be the empowerment lies in realizing that staying put is just as productive as movement forward. Sometimes movement forward can be destructive, right? Especially if undue risk is taken. So it seems that because you intuitively understand that staying close to home, being with the family, and building upon your legacy from a stable, fixed standpoint is best, because you fully anticipate there's going to be something that does not pan out moving forward towards Leo season. You are trying to be empowered, exercise self-empowerment to make the decision not to move forward on something. Sorry. During July, there's something that's being revealed. It's like when things are done in the dark, they come to light. The moon is normally dreams, deception, darkness, the shadows. It can be confusion, nightmares even. But when it is in the reverse, we have things being revealed, secrets being revealed, enlightenment through the dream state, but also the things coming to light. Something like confusion lifting. So, and this is also Cancerian energy. So I would say for certain you are dealing with somebody who is a Cancer Leo cusp individual during the summer months here from mid-July on to the end of July. There's somebody who is born during the stretch of July 15th to July 26th. That's the individual that you're dealing with here. There's something that's been hidden that is coming to light. What is it? Tell us more. What is hidden that is coming to light? God's going to cut you down. It's a song by Johnny Cash. What was done in the dark will come to the light. Tell us more. This is actually a quick one, Taurus. All the other ones have been an hour and a half long. Well, we still got 26 minutes. I could probably still make it that long. Okay. Knight of Swords in the reverse, Gemini energy. This is attempt to not take impulsive action towards something, holding back on impulsivity in your actions. We're shuffling backwards. Why are we shuffling backwards? Gemini, Cancer, cusp. Something coming to light about what happened during June. The beginning of June. June 18th. Somebody with a birthday June 18th. A secret or something being revealed about something that was confusing about why somebody wouldn't take impulsive action towards something. Retro vertigo. In retrospect, the smart thing to do was to sit back and watch. Ambiguity in energies. Somebody who was dichotomous in their energy. And with this card, I always like to say, as long as you're ambiguous with the universe will be ambiguous with you. This is somebody who had two different decisions or two different feelings occurring at the same time. Not necessarily two individuals. Remember, this is energy. Time, energy, effort, material. Coin. Confusion about two different opposing forces. We have three we have to take. One, somebody was not in the union of mind, body, and spirit. Whether or not somebody could remain in a contract. Contracts being dissolved. Friendships being dissolved, where somebody had to walk away from something that no longer served them, but also would have normally been of emotional fulfillment. And patience, the need for patience. The need for patience, but walking away from something that would have been of emotional fulfillment in seek of love of the self and one's self-worth after contracts dissolving. That's what the confusion is lifting about. Somebody had to walk away from something that was of emotional fulfillment. The confusion was why they did that, and the reason they did so was because they needed to evaluate their self-worth. It was after, and they dissolved a contract. You might have thought it was impulsive. However, it was thought out carefully. There was careful forethought that was involved. See, there was careful forethought involved. They had a decision in between two different things, and they decided to move towards something that was going to serve their highest good, that was going to help them reevaluate their self-worth or speak to their self-worth, that was worthy of them, or help them to learn self-love. The confusion is lifting about that in July. Somebody understands better during July. You understand better during July why somebody had to walk away from something. They thought about it carefully. Sometimes the Three of Pentacles is also about friendships. And the understanding is that it was about loving oneself. And that's why somebody had to walk away from something that was normally of emotional fulfillment. During August, we have the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. This is the decision. This is no longer being ambiguous with one's energy, dropping one of the Two Pentacles, deciding, making that decision to focus one's energy, efforts, time, monetary resources on one thing over another, as opposed to the division of energies. Tell me more. Yeah, it's the dropping of burdens and responsibilities. There's one thing of the two different things that one person was dividing themselves over in August of 2025, where it was demanding somebody's responsibilities, their energy, their resources, to the point of exhaustion. And the decision was made based on what would allow somebody to drop some of their burdens and responsibilities. Tell me more. Allow them some additional, some space to dedicate themselves to something more. Yeah, it's something that came to them in a dream. Could also be about Cancerian energy, but it's the moon, and therefore it was something that could have been something they were moonlighting on, or something they were doing during the night. Something that was taking away from their time during the night. Something that was contributing to nightmares. Something where they were deceiving themselves or confused, or it caused confusion for them. The inability to clear their head, to get rest, good night's sleep. Not they weren't sleeping right. Also has to do with the moods. Is affecting and impacting their moods, their cycles and their rhythms. Tell me more. Tell me more. What's this? Tell me more. Anything else on the August for Taurus? Somebody didn't even have time to channel surf. The freedom to, while I'm sheltered by my channel surfing. It caused heartbreak for them. There was a lack of balance, and so they're no longer deceiving themselves. It caused great pain. It resulted in great pain and a lack of balance. No addition. No, the give and take. And there's a self-deception lifting. And they had heartbreak, and so they attempted to balance. They attempted to be the charity or the charitable, but the self-deception was lifting. And that's why they had to choose one of the two paths instead of carrying two at once, instead of juggling two energies. They had to drop the burden because it was pain, it was heartbreak, it was causing pain, and they were deceiving themselves. They were kidding themselves that they could maintain it. So during August, you're going to see this happening. September, we have the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. This is either miserly energy, or typically I see it as the opposite. I see it as somebody who is spending too much. Kind of, splurging to the point of excess. We're shuffling backwards again, which is interesting. Queen of Cups in reverse. Splurging, spending too much on their heart space. Giving away. Remember what I said before, somebody who gives too much of their heart space doesn't respect their heart space enough, so they give it all away. It could be somebody that's overindulging and spending as a way to alleviate heartbreak because they gave too much of their heart. So it's like retail therapy. The truth. What is the truth? Judgment. The truth is judgment. The personal truth. Aquarius energy. I see this as Libran energy because it's Athena's sword, but whatever. With Aries, Sagittarius energy. The personal truth was a decision had to be made. Somebody paying the piper for their shopaholicism. It was retail therapy because of a broken heart, and the deep personal truth is that there is atonement. There's a realization of atonement, as if, thank you, it's like the Band-Aid covering the bullet hole. like spending all of that money like it was water, with the Queen of Cups in the reverse, spending the money like it's water. It was a band-aid covering a bullet hole. You rip the band-aid off, the bullet hole's still there. You're not addressing the actual original wound. For October 2025, finally, we have this unique card to this deck. It's a unique card to the Beautiful Creatures deck called the Paranormal. It is in the reverse. A key word for this card is curiosity. I think it's more about the occult. It's about occult wisdom. It's something that signifies to me the veil in and of itself. There's something that's going to be happening during October 31st-ish, leading up to that, where one feels disconnected from the intuitive self, with it being in the reverse, where one feels as if they're disconnected from their ancestors, feeling as if the existence of spirituality, the belief of existence of spirituality, somebody's spiritual beliefs hangs in the balance. Somebody's questioning whether or not they have anybody from the other side on their side. Tell me more. You're attempting to gain perspective, and it seems like your year is kind of chock full of a lot of different interactions with others. It seems as if, is the juice worth the squeeze, all of the output? Is it worth the input? King of Pentacles, you've connected with the self, though. And during October, there's going to be a deep personal inner conversations with the self about your own stability, your security, your self-worth, how you invest in others, who you invest in. I feel in connection with this card in particular, there could be conversations with the self that have to do with the deep personal inner knowing. And who you are. You could be having conversations with yourself about who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I want to go? Who do I want in my inner circle? Am I holding fast to my beliefs? Do I need to reevaluate my philosophies? Looking back to the ancestors and really evaluating for yourself if you feel that they are there for you. Did you do them justice? Did you honor them? Are they there with you? Do they see you? Those are deep personal questions, and although I believe in those things, it's not for me to tell you or impress upon you if that's true for you. We all have those moments of questioning, and sometimes we check out when we take a break from that stuff. When we have tough years, it's normal for us to feel that way. I think it's important for you to look for signs and synchronicities during October. But it's a time of deep introspection where you need to connect. You're reconnecting with the self, regaining your own personal stability, the feeling of being secure within oneself. And I don't mean the feeling of security within oneself like the stubbornness that says, I totally know who I am and what I'm about and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I totally do. No. Sit quietly with yourself and converse with yourself. Clean off the dryer lint of the day and connect with yourself. Dryer lint of the year of Christ and connect with yourself. How long has it been since you have personally connected with the self and had a conversation with the self? You know, and really checked in with yourself. How deeply are you introspecting when you're dedicating and scattering yourself to this extent throughout your year? Yeah, like I said, connect with the self. There's deep introspection. In order to escape into the cave of self-discovery, Virgo energy, in order to learn a deep personal inner truth. Normally we see the hermit as a cloaked individual with a hood who holds a lantern. The lantern is illumination and is knowledge, and he goes into a cave, later to emerge, having learned a deep personal truth that he cannot do unless he goes in there by himself, with nothing, no distraction, into the darkness with that lantern, to have personal conversations. Anything else? It's to evaluate what you believe. It's to evaluate how you feel inwardly about yourself, about your goals, about the people who support you, about the people you support, about where you're headed in your life, what direction you'd like to go in moving forward. About anything, really. What conversation would you like to have with yourself? It's not about what I tell you you should speak to yourself about. You know? When was the last time you really sat down with yourself and spoke to yourself about what you wanted to, what you needed to? You know, I'm always really surprised when I get into personal relationships with other people. There aren't a lot of people who do have an inner dialogue even. People don't think in their own heads. They don't talk to themselves. Never mind think about the interactions they have with others. Or how did that make me feel when this and this happened? And then they're, you know, like, so, you know, I just, yeah. And I mean, there's a difference in between emotional intelligence and emotional neuroses. But still, I think the connectedness with the self is huge here. And yeah, Knight of Wands energy, there is passionate action that happens as a result of learning that deep personal inner truth at the end of all of this. So, bottom of the deck, we have an ending of conflict. You're tired of fighting something or fighting somebody or fighting people in general. You're tired of the battle. Like I tried to say in Aries' reading, the Five of Pentacles is literally depicted with people hitting each other with sticks, because that's what it is. It's people beating on each other with sticks. It's conflict. Whether this is inner conflict or outer conflict, I believe it's outer conflict. For you, I think you're tired of arguing with people. You're tired of the fight. You're tired of the rat race, and you need to go within. You need to quiet the mind. You need to go within. You need to have some time alone to figure out what the hell it is that you are working for. What is it all for in the end? Delve below the surface. Anyway, that's what I have for you for your year. Didn't mean to be waxing poetic, but sometimes that just happens, you know. In any event, I'm hoping, and every time I say this, I never end up doing it, but I'm hoping that I get to do a spread that I've been working on. I don't typically do love spreads. I normally just read whatever comes out, because you cannot force the cards to tell you whatever you aim for them to tell you. But I'm going to be looking at doing a love spread. I made one. So I'm going to try and do that next after I finish these other readings. Thank you so much for watching. It was so nice to have a day off. Normally I work a stat, and then I have other things that I try and fill my time with so I can make more money on the day that I have off as my stat day in lieu. But it was nice to have the time to just hang out and do this. So it was a pleasure as always. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you when we see you next, Taurus. Thanks. Bye.